Folks, thumbs up if you can see me and you can hear me. What's up, Diane? What's up, Mauricio? What's up, Danielle? What's up, Vincente? What's up, Cash, if that is your name? What's up, Paul? And I can't see Marina. I can't see Don, Craig, Vito. As Don Corleone said one time, he said, "What did I do to make you disrespect me so much?" Before he killed them, all right? So look, I'm here on a Friday night. My kids are waiting for me at home, but I'm gonna drop some science on AI for you. So turn these cameras on as a sign of respect. Thank you, Susan. Nice to see you. Usually the faces are really beautiful anyways. If not, I'm throwing you out. So Diana, Rosalind, Craig, this is your final warning. And if you want to wear a tie, you get bonus points as well. All right. Can I just get a feeling here? Thumbs up if you are worried about AI. Thumbs down if you're not worried about AI, kind of taking your job, taking the world. All right, Diane's not. Susan, are you worried about it? Like mixed feelings? Okay, we got this going on here. Okay, good. Well, look, tonight I've got a few different versions for you. I've got some things that look really dire, and then I've got some really positive things because I'm having the best scientists in the world come on and talk to me about AI, professors from MIT, people that have been doing this for 30 plus years. And we're about to write $1 million check into our first artificial intelligence investment, which we're calling the OpenAI killer. So I'm very, very close to what's happening on the ground. And I get a lot that I publish to you on my episodes, but actually I have a ton of conversations with people behind the scenes. I'm going to share all of it with you tonight. And it's going to be some highs and some lows. Is everybody ready for some real talk overall about AI? Okay, good. If you can, put in the city you're in, just in the chat so I can see that it's working. We got Diane in the Bay Area. I hope you guys doing it there. We got Cash in Toronto, and a few other people coming in. We got New York City in the house. We got France, Germany, and a bunch of other places. So if you can type that in the chat. And again, turn cameras on. Diana, that's your last warning before I chuck you. And Martini's going to throw everybody out if we don't have cameras on. What is it? Irakli Kuchava? Is that it? That's not a Bulgarian name, is it? No, it's definitely somewhere around there, right? Good to see you. And look, I've just cooked up a presentation that's got all the cutting edge stuff. Like I said, I'm having the conversations with everybody in this space, including those that are building the next, what I believe, $5 trillion artificial intelligence company. You know, we're in blockchain, you know, we're in metaverse. So hopefully I can give you the best of the best. I'm going to play video content for you that you've never seen before. And I'm going to try to educate you on what's really happening in artificial intelligence. Some of the news is bad, but some of the news is good. And so I want to show you a little bit of everything tonight. Is that cool for everybody here? Yeah? Okay, cool. We got Sanjay around. We got Mauricio and Diana. I'm sorry, Diana, you got to go. So Diana is gone. Sophia, you're gone next. Sophia, I think you're gone as well. All right, so Sophia, you're gone too. And again, last chance to turn cameras on, or I just want to get people out of here. I just want a chosen few to be listening to this. If you have any questions along the way, put them in the chat. Again, turn cameras on. If you come in, Martini will kind of sanction people. We got Rackley from Georgia. Okay, nice. I actually spoke to a woman from Georgia today in London who's working with one of the tech accelerators that we're going to start investing in companies there. They got a bunch of really interesting AI companies. So nice to see you got people here. And we got Sanjay in London as well. Oh, Diana was having problems with her camera as well. I guess she now has a lot of problems with her camera, but maybe she'll come back. So my bad, Martini. But look, what can I say? I'm going in hard. So folks, I'm going to share with the presentation. If you got any questions, put them on there. I will be asking for your feedback with hand signals along the way. Is everybody ready to go? Everybody with me here? Okay, good. Pay attention because this goes fast. But honestly, I think we're at the very cutting edge of what's going on with AI right now. And I want to share it with you right now. So hold on one second. Let me just share the screen. Just cooked this thing up. Just this morning. Let me make sure I got the latest copy. Yeah, okay, cool. Can everybody see this presentation? You got a headline in the upper left-hand corner and you got an AI generated image of me, or is it AI, on the other side, all right? And this was out in the Daily Mail 2 days ago. And the Daily Mail said AI could wipe out humanity. Now look, folks, I've been through the dot-com boom and bust. I've been through blockchain, many crypto cycles. I've been through the banking crisis, all of them, but I've rarely seen a headline like this on the front page of the Daily Mail that's talking about a technology wiping out humanity. Has anyone ever seen that? Put your hands up if you have, right? I mean, I've heard that the internet was going to take our jobs. but wiping out humanity. And so this is a big watershed moment where the public is starting to take notice of the great power of this technology. This technology, in my opinion, is more dangerous than a nuclear missile, because a nuclear missile can't turn itself into a better nuclear missile. Does everyone know what I'm talking about here? Whereas AI can improve on itself. It can write its own code. It can give itself feedback and get better and better and better. And that's why if you look at all the scientists, they are all worried. Raise your hands if you've seen some of these scientists that look worried, or their voice kind of treble, it shakes when they talk in front of Congress and the Senate, right? That's because they know more than they're saying, and they are scared down to the bones, because they're worried that instead of getting the Nobel Prize for AI, they're going to be go down as history as the one that exterminated humanity, right? And so they're all worried about this, but they can't stop themselves. And that's the problem with this technology, is it's so tempting, it's so exciting, and everyone's racing for it, that people are going to develop it, even though it potentially is going to kill us. Don't worry, I've got a way that we can get around that, but it involves us being proactive, investing, and talking about it ad nauseum. And that's why I'm constantly doing these master classes. We're constantly publishing content about AI, because I think this is probably the most important point in humanity. And if we don't get this right in the next 6 to 12 months, it could be over, game over. And that's important to me. So that's why we're looking at this now. I'm going to show you how we're profiting from and investing as well. So stay with me. I'm going to hit you with some headlines. The first is this that came out recently, which is artificial intelligence threatens extinction. All right. New experts are saying this, but it continues. OpenAI's former top safety researcher is saying there's a 10 to 20% chance that the tech will take over with many or most humans dead. Folks, this is a real headline in a real magazine, right? This isn't the Inquirer or something. These are like high-level scientists saying these statements. I've never seen this before in any type of technology, and it's nice to know. And I don't think they're telling us the whole truth. This guy here, Eric Schmidt, very, very powerful guy in Google, 15 years as the CEO and chairman, says that AI has the power to kill many people. In fact, he said something different. If you look at the quote on the right, he said many, 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 many people harmed or killed. That's 4 manys. Can everybody count those manys, right? For a guy like Eric, who's a good speaker, he's trying to tell us something, right? He's very, very worried. And for a guy like that to put his reputation on the line and talk about this, it really shows you what's going on behind the scenes. And I'd say most of the public has no idea how serious this is. No idea. Even Sam Altman is saying it's going to replace experienced professionals within 10 years. He really means 3 years. In 10 years, it's very hard to understand the reality we're going to be in. I think nobody understands it right now. The godfather of AI, this guy, Jeffrey Hinton, and all of my top AI guests, and I'm going to show you video from them soon, they all say this guy's the AI OG, right? He's 75 years old. He was doing neural nets back 20, 25 years ago when no one thought AI would go anywhere. AI was always considered the science that was never really going to make it. Honestly, the losers weren't there. There was no money there. There was no companies there until the last 6 months. Now, everyone and their mother wants to do something with AI. Of course, the OpenAI leaders have called for regulation to prevent AI destroying humanity. All right, these are real headlines. This is from The Guardian. Okay, this is not some, crank magazine. This is a real major publication. Talking about job losses, 50,000 jobs lost here in the UK for British Telecom, 10,000 of those to be replaced by computers. 20% of jobs to be replaced by an AI. That's real. This is going to cause major social unrest. And of course, our friends at Goldman Sachs, who are always looking out for us, of course, on Wall Street, have talked about 300 million full-time jobs being replaced by AI. That's a major part of the global workforce. That's 5 to 10% of the global workforce. When that happens, economies dive into major recession. People are on the streets, they can't eat, they don't have jobs. This is, serious change type of stuff. And of course, at the same time, NVIDIA, which is the chip maker that makes all the AI chips, is blasting through $1 trillion. So again, these things are happening at the same time because of this demand. Now Google has come back with their reply to OpenAI's ChatGPT, and now they're getting into a war between the two of these. The problem with a war is this, folks, is that we will lose this war because both of these companies are fighting for their survival. They're multi-trillion-dollar companies, and they'll do anything it takes to win. Is that clear for everybody here? Just thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about. Is that clear? Diane, Vicente, okay. Which means Google will plug in their AI to the live internet, even though there was a risk assessment that told them not to do it. They overruled it. Now, they put out a code red to their company in December 2022. Why? Because ChatGPT came on. And ChatGPT has been called the Google killer. Why do you need a search engine if you can just put it in ChatGPT, right? Google makes billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars from its search. So now it's plugged its artificial intelligence into the live internet, folks. That's a big no-no in AI spaces. 5 years ago, people said, we never do it. You don't teach it how to program, you don't connect it to the live internet, and you don't let it train on human emotion. These are the 3 no-nos. Why? Because with those 3 things, it can do things to us as humans, right? You know, I don't know, hack into a nuclear power plant. I don't know, launch nuclear missiles. Everyone's starting to understand this is the big no-nos, and yet they're doing it. Guess what? Sundar Pichai, the senior boss at Google, it's keeping him up at night. And look, I know Mo Gauda, who used to work at Google X, which is their secret lab where they were working on all their AI. He's been on the show recently. I'm going to play a video from him. He's coming back in 3 weeks in studio because this is important. And he said, look, Brian, I know Sundar. He said, he's a really good guy. But the problem is if he doesn't do it, they'll fire him and get someone else that does. And so he is literally racing to the bottom. These companies are racing to the bottom. They're throwing out all the cautions to try to get the best AI, the fastest, so they don't lose all of their jobs and all of their money. And in the meantime, they're throwing caution to the wind and creating an AI that's going to be 1 billion times smarter than us and 1 billion times more emotionally aware than us that could potentially destroy us. Everybody with me here so far? All right, this is happening right in front of our eyes. Google Bard just came out 2-3 weeks ago with this update. Of course, the White House has pulled all the AI bosses there recently and said they have a moral duty to safeguard society. But quite frankly, it's too late. People have said, should we shut down AI? But that's impossible because no one's going to comply. Not everybody's going to comply. Somebody in a back room is going to be working on this. I had Professor Max Tegmark of MIT, where I graduated in '93, on the show. He's the president of the Future of Life Institute. He's the one that wrote the letter that was signed by 1,000 AI scientists that said, stop, 6 months, just stop, just hold off. We don't need a better AI generator of cool images right now. We don't need it. Just take a breather. We don't need AI to write your kid's essay right now. Just take a break and let's just see if we can process the dangers. And nobody did. And so I had Max on recently, and I want you to get a feel for what he was saying, because when you listen to these guys, it's a whole different story. And Max was very concerned about what was going on, and he's worried about what's going to happen if we don't put a stop to it. And this is what Max tried to warn me of.
We are either going to become empowered as a species to really be the masters of our own destiny and use artificial intelligence to solve all the problems we've been stumped by so far, or we're going to go extinct.
I think you have said that when it comes to AI, we're not in an arms race, it's actually a suicide race. Where you think we're headed and why everyone needs to pay attention to this now.
The worst case scenario is lights out for all of us. Why was it that GPT-J seemingly persuaded a Belgian man recently to commit suicide, or that another chatbot tried to convince the New York Times journalist to leave his wife? It was not because some engineer involved in building it was like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna mess with these people. No, it's just they had no idea it was gonna do these things. They're gigantic black boxes. Pressing the start button is basically like playing Russian roulette. That's why the biggest threat right now, I think, is instead coming from the private market, where everybody is just trying to make more money. You can make a lot of money on things in the short term, even if you don't understand how they work.
There's no history on this planet of a less intelligent being ever either surviving or having any type of reality that they used to have. There's a good argument to say this is really important to stay aware of.
If we're up against something more intelligent and it wants to get rid of us, it'll be in a way that we can't even imagine, and probably for a reason also that we can't imagine. If we get this right, there's just an enormous upside. So if we can amplify our intelligence with artificial intelligence, it's just mind-boggling how amazing things we could do. Where people can live healthy, wealthy, inspiring lives in a world where AI just helps bring out the best in us.
right, we like Max. Are you feeling his vibe a little bit, getting some information? He said it could be lights out for all of us. He said ultimately it's a black box. This is something to remember, folks. It's a black box. The people that built ChatGPT don't even know why it works, because it's a neural net, and the neural net just goes in and it processes everything. You can't say, why did it do this, or could you stop doing this? So it's a black box, and that just makes it dangerous. But he also says that it could actually make us even better human beings. So again, this is what a top MIT professor is saying. He wrote the letter to try to slow things down. Nobody's slowing things down, so he's moving on. But we're going to have him back on the show just to keep us posted on what's going on. Next, I went and spoke with this guy. This is Dr. Hugo de Garis. He's an AI scientist who's been doing this for 35 years. He wrote a book called The Art-elect War about 15 years ago because he knew this was coming. Now, he told me confidently and quietly, he said, Brian, he said, I thought I was going to die peacefully before this happened. I thought my kids and grandkids would have to deal with this madness. He's predicting something called a gigadeath. That's 1 billion deaths on this planet. And he said, now, because of ChatGPT, now I think I'm going to have to live through it. All of these AI guys and women are saying this took them by surprise. Not a single one has told me publicly or privately, yeah, Brian, I knew this was probably coming. Not a single one. That scares me, that even the people that have been living and breathing this stuff for 30 years are shocked by how fast this is. And so Hugo asked me a question. He said, Brian, do we create our exterminators? Do we create our exterminators? And I want to play this video from a guy who worked in this field for a long time. He's actually really good friends with Dr. Ben Goertzel, who we've become very good friends with. And I want you to just see what he's trying to say here, because it's pretty deep and pretty heavy.
Do we build gods, or do we build our potential exterminators? I mean, I used to say, I'm going to die quietly in my bed, but my grandchildren will be caught up in this horrible conflict that I'm predicting is coming. But now I'm suddenly have question marks. God, I might even see it.
You say that the machines might just take us out in the back and...
Once it can start redesigning itself, you get an exponential explosion of intelligence. And then our fate as human beings depends on the machines. It's only a question of time before humanity is forced to choose between stopping development in artificial intelligence. I don't see that as realistic. Or we just accept the idea that sooner or later, we, as a human species, we become number two. The answer to that is, as I'm predicting, war.
Do you think China is behind the West right now for AI?
The potential of the Chinese is phenomenal. The Chinese, they've been the dominant power for not just centuries, but for millennia. The last 2 centuries or so, when they're economically dipped, that for them, given their 5,000-year history, is a glitch. It's a historical glitch. So deep down in the Chinese mentality is the push to get back, quote, where we belong.
So can you really isolate and stop the development of AI?
Personally, I feel it's inevitable. Do we build gods, or do we build our potential exterminators? That's the issue. Should humanity build intellects?
What do you think of Dr. Hugo? You like him, or is he scaring you? Give me a thumbs down if he scares you. You like him? Okay. Look, I think he's got some great points. And he talks about these two groups of people. One of them he calls the art-elect are going to build these godlike beings. And the other ones are going to say, wait a second, we're on team human, and we don't want you to do this. And he thinks that these are going to be two warring factions going forward. And he might have a point there. By the way, he said there'll be a third group. Some of you look like the third group. Maybe Mauricio looks like the third group here. And that's the cyborgs, right? Mauricio is going to want to implant a little AI on his shoulder, right? Now, this is what Hugo says to you, Mauricio. He says, you're kidding yourself, because once the AI is inside your brain or in your tissue, it's going to dwarf your human intelligence by like 1 billion to 1. So you're basically just an AI at the end of the day. So that's what he said. So there'll just be 2, and he sees mayhem. I think this is something to be watched and something that's interesting. So again, I put these people in front of you because they're credible and they have some interesting ideas that I think we need to entertain. So today, I want to talk about why the experts are warning they could wipe us out. I want to talk about bad actors versus good actors, and I'm going to show you both. We've found some good actors that are giving me hope, honestly. One of them is a good friend of Dr. Hugo de Garis. And then I'm going to show you how you can invest in profit now, because we believe by investing and by promoting this via the media and me having these conversations, we can change the future. We did it during lockdown and COVID. We literally changed the conversation. So I know we can do it here. And I'm working every hour of every day to make sure that we can. We've got a great group of people behind the scenes that helping us do this. They're actually investing alongside of us and making the awareness. But we need the London Real Army in full effect here if we have any chance to make it through these machines. And let's be clear, folks, with the most intelligent species on the planet always dominates. Just thumbs up if that makes sense, or you all agree with me, right? It's not the strongest. There's animals, and chimpanzees are stronger than us. There's animals with bigger teeth that are bigger than us. It's the smartest ones that win. If the computers become smarter, we become number 2, as the professor says. The number 2 species in this world is always subjugated to a not very nice existence, right? Would you like to be a cow or a chicken in this world, in a factory farm? Anybody? Can anybody think of any great animals that are having an amazing time on this planet? They're all being controlled or made extinct by us. And that could very well happen in this scenario. So look, we're currently investing over $3 million in 3 deals this quarter, because this is the way we believe that can change the future. If I thought it would change the future, quite honestly, Diane, I would go out in front of Parliament with one of those big, what do they call them, Diane? Placards that says like, AI is going to kill us. I could do that, but I think this is a better use of my time. Does everyone agree? Right? We can put our money where our mouth is. And again, never underestimate the power of a small group of people that are highly motivated. In 2020, we fought back against multi-trillion-dollar technology companies, governments, World Health Organizations that were trying to crush us, and we won. So don't tell me we can't win this battle, because we can. And we're going to do it through this vehicle. This is London Real Ventures. I created this 2 years ago. We are the world's first media-powered investment firm. And because London Real has 1 billion views and 5 million subscribers, and thanks to all of you, we can now see the best deals in the world. And we give them a capital. I put the CEO in the chair, and we blast out their message to the world and give them customers. We are now seeing top tier 1 deal flow that the best VCs in the world see. And I pass those deals on to you as London Real family. These are some of the portfolio companies we've already invested in. Some incredible companies that are already making big gains. And we've got our AI deal and a few others that we're cooking now. We'll probably do 10 more deals this year. We're selective, but we're also active, including the OpenAI killer. And this deal closes in a couple days. We're writing them $1 million check, and we think this is going to change the world, and I'll show you how. Again, this is important to our thesis. The greatest way to predict the future is to create it. Raise your hands if you agree. How many people agree with that? Right? It's not stick your head in the sand. It's probably not to whine about it. The greatest way to predict the future is to create it. And that's what we're doing every waking hour of every day. Like I said, it's Friday night here in London. We've been working all week, and I'm here with you because this is important. So let's jump into this. First of all, our why here at London Real is why I'm doing this. Our mission is to create a mass scale transformation of humanity into a fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative species. So London Real Ventures is right next to that. Everything we invest in has this same mission, and we're inviting you to help us transform the world together. And of course, I've got also a personal why, and it's these two crazy pirates. I'm sorry, beautiful boys. They go back and forth, okay? Caden just turned 7. Damon's about to turn 6. And I am very concerned about their future, because when Caden turns 17, it's going to be 2033. Let's think about that. By then, we will have reached artificial general intelligence, as in a machine will be smarter than a human. But it also could be at that point 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times or 1,000,000,000 times smarter than a human. When it's 1,000,000,000 times smarter than a human, that's Einstein, Professor Einstein, compared to a fly. Do you think we have any chance compared to that AI? Anybody think we have any chance? Do you think we're going to be able to choose our lives? Some people say, well, humans will still exist so we can make art. Really? I don't know. So I'm doing this for them. I think they will have a childhood unlike any human has ever had on this planet. Not necessarily in a good way. They'll be surrounded by artificial intelligence. And I think that's to be concerned with. So this is Mo Gaudet. He's the former Google X Chief Business Development Officer, highly senior guy at Google, who quit Google when he saw the AI they were developing 6 years ago. He doesn't talk about this until you push him on it, by the way, because he tries to be very, magnanimous. He wrote a book called Scary Smart, which is the future of AI. And lately, he came on our show about a month and a half ago, and lately he's been really coming out because he says Google is creating God. Mo is very concerned about what's being created. He thinks it's inevitable, but he thinks we can stop it at this point, but we have to be aware and we have to understand what it's going to do. There's a great interview with Mo. He's going to be back on the show on the 28th, live here in the studio in London, where we're going to go even deeper. But Mo really dropped some amazing science on what's going on. And I asked him, I said, should I plan my life past 2025? And he laughed out loud and said, that's a good question. Because he believes we'll hit artificial general intelligence in 2 years. But it's not just him, it's this guy. Do you know him? This is Demis Hassabis. He's the CEO of DeepMind, which was bought by Google for $500 million. And he now runs Google Brain. He's considered one of the best guys in AI. He created that AI that beats everybody out that game Go. Does anybody know the game Go? It's like a big game in China. It's called Go. Nobody thought a computer could play it. He developed it. He says AGI possible in a few years. Imagine if there's a computer that's smarter than you in every way, shape, or form. By the way, ChatGPT is already smarter than all of you at most things. I'm sure a lot of you are nice. I'm sorry, but it's better than you. Does anybody think you can write better than ChatGPT? Put your hands up. Anybody here? No, any Shakespeare's in the house? Can anybody here write code better than ChatGPT? Any Bill Gateses in the house? Maybe. So it's already better than you, a lot better than you at a bunch of things. Now, maybe it can't take out the garbage. Okay. So, all right, maybe it can't take that, the garbage of Vicente. So we can keep you around for that. Maybe it can't feed the cat, Diane. We'll keep you around for that. But you know, it's coming. And then it'll get orders of magnitude better. Again, wealth inequality, you thought it was bad now. You watch that show Succession in Billions, you think it's already bad? That's nothing compared to what's happening. The rich are going to get even richer, and 50 to 60 to 70% of the planet is going to be poor, unemployed, and on a universal basic income until they riot, in my opinion. It's going to automate 25% of all jobs. That's 1.5 billion jobs. You know, what do you think that's going to do to society? This guy, Yuval Harari, is now saying that AI is going to create the religions that control humans. Now, before you just pass him off and say that's crazy, is it? Stories can create humans. Stories are religions, they're nations, they're political parties, they're corporations. Those are all stories. Imagine what happens when an AI starts to tell those stories. Soon we might find ourselves living inside their dreams. Just think of the misinformation, right? You've seen the deep fakes. Raise your hand if you've seen a deep fake, right? You've seen some of those out there where they're trying to impersonate people with AIs. Imagine seeing 10,000 of those in one day, 100,000, to where you don't even know what's real anymore. You don't know if your mom is real, or your girlfriend's real, your president is real, your boss is real, the outside is real. You don't know anything's real. And it's changing every minute, maybe every second. Imagine that. ChatGPT went from 0 to 100 million users in 2 months. It's not an exponential growth. It's a vertical growth of technology. Never seen this in human history. Do I have your attention now? I hope I do. It's an AI arms race. President Biden is worried. Even Sam Altman, it's going to end the world as we know it or make a ton of money. And that's where Dr. Ben Goertzel comes in. Became friends with Ben Goertzel 4 years ago when he came on my show because I wanted to learn about AI. And he told me all about AI in a fascinating conversation. And then I said, thanks, Ben. I'm busy. I got things to do. And I forgot about it, right? But when ChatGPT kicked off 6 months ago, I called up Ben and said, Ben, we need you. And so he came back on the show. Also, his token went up 10x. So if you're into blockchain, you could have made 10x your money buying the AGIX token. So you know his company's hot, and you know they're considered one of the forerunners when it comes to AI. So he came back on my show and he told me about what was going on with artificial intelligence. And I want to share this for you because it's really important to understand it. Because now you're starting to see the world from a guy who, in my opinion, can actually change the future. And this is what it's all about. And so I want to show what Ben thought the future could be. And this is from January, February time.
We are leaping into the great unknown, creating machines that are much smarter than us. This is either exciting or frightening or both, depending on your personality.
Will AI exterminate humanity?
Eliezer Yudkowsky, a decade or two ago, he said, the AI does not love you. The AI does not hate you, but it can use your atoms for something else. Actually, my view tends to be that AI is the greatest hope we have to save humanity from exterminating itself.
I don't think anyone in the world understands how this will be the most transformational time in human history.
I have a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old granddaughter. By the time they're turned 18, the whole texture of human life and the nature of the world they grow up into is going to be incredibly different from the world that we see now. Like, they're never going to have to get jobs. On the whole, I'm an optimist. I have a spiritual or intuitive feeling that things are going to come out awesomely in the next 10 years. We're going to overcome material scarcity. We're going to create machines that can feed into our brains via brain-computer interfacing and help uplift human consciousness. And we're going to port into virtual worlds and achieve like states of intelligence and awareness going way beyond anything we can imagine now. So that's what the Captain Kirk in my head thinks. We're on the verge of engineered utopia. It's incredible. It's a remarkably weird and fortuitous thing to be living at such a time.
All right, what do we think of Ben? We like his optimistic view on the future. He's considered an OG in this space. He actually coined the term AGI, artificial general intelligence. He's been doing this for 30, 40 years. And Singularity Net has been built up, and it's absolutely incredible. But here is where the good stuff comes. Because I sat down with this incredible woman. This is Janet Adams, and she is the COO of Singularity Net. She's been there 4 or 5 years. Before that, she was 15, 20 years in banking where she got her chops. She's a very experienced operator. She's an incredible businesswoman, but she also understands the future of AI and what it needs to be and what it can't be. They have created a new company called Zarka. Zarka is the ChatGPT killer. It is their response to all of these narrow AIs. Now, what do I mean by narrow AI? Well, if you pay attention, I'll show you what I mean, because this is what I believe is our only chance to combat what worries me, which is a bunch of tech companies worth trillions of dollars racing to zero and putting all of our safety at risk. Does anybody want that to happen with AI going forward? Raise your hand if you do. Throw them out of the call. No, I'm just joking. I respect any opinion here, but I'm worried about that. So listen to what Janet said when she was in my studio just a couple months ago.
Artificial general intelligence is completely different to narrow AI. AGI is more purpose-driven. It's a watershed moment for humanity.
Tell me about Zarka. This is the project that will create the AGI. And it's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model at massive scale. What is it?
Zarka is the accumulation of decades of research from teams containing the best artificial intelligence scientists in the world. We uniquely harness that expertise with our even more unique capabilities in neural symbolic techniques and the deeply advanced mathematics that Dr. Ben Goertzel, Dr. Matt Ickley, Dr. Alexei Potapov, and our top scientist, Sergei Shalyapin, have been working on for decades. We are building the most powerful large models ever invented.
With Zarka and Singularity Net and everything you've always done, it's always been about openness. It's always been about decentralization.
We'll be using blockchain technology to enable anybody to help train models. We're giving birth to a new species of sentient life in the universe. The actual greatest imperative is that they are used for good. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Our goal, our mission is to eradicate inequalities.
When I look at the rest of the market now, I don't see any of those motivations because a corporation, by definition, is going to be motivated by money. You're the only project that even is thinking in any way, shape, or form about these.
We are going to transform what it means to be human on our planet. I foresee a future in which humans then evolve to a next level of being where we are actually conscious, where we feel our full joy engulfed in bliss and ecstasy of the joy of living, the joy of each other. I see a future of joy.
All right, we like Janet. We feeling her a little bit more. She is a great counterbalance to, quite frankly, a lot of this male scientist AI energy. And she really sees a vision of what this future needs to be. And everything about Singularity Net and Zarka is, in my opinion, the right way to do this. They want an open source decentralized way to do this to where it's not all locked up in these tech monopolies. And so I was out in Texas a couple weeks ago at the Consensus Conference for blockchain. I had another conversation with Ben Goertzel about this. I won't play this video, but it's on our website. And that's where he broke down exactly what's happening with Zarka. He's been back on the show every 2 weeks. He was here actually last Friday, and he's more and more encouraged. And he believes that actually artificial general intelligence and the major AI is going to be solved not by one of the big tech giants, because you actually get better development and faster development when you have open source decentralized. So look, we know this market is going to 2 trillion by 2030. This gets revised up, by the way, about every week or so. It's probably more like $5 trillion. This is going to be a massive market. I was back at MIT last year, and I stopped by to see some of my professors at the MIT Sloan School of Management. It's one of the biggest business schools in the world. And they said, Brian, an AI productivity boom is coming. I then went to my fraternity house full of 50 young men that are about to go out on the workforce. And I said, what are you doing? Are you guys going to Wall Street like I did? You're going into management consulting? You're going to work for, tech? And they said, no, we're going into AI startups and blockchain and metaverse startups. This is where the talent is going, which means this is where the money is going to go, folks. Next, we saw Sam Altman of OpenAI testify in front of the Senate. And very strangely enough, my old fraternity brother, who's now the senator for California, was there asking him questions. I knew that voice sounded familiar. I used to make him do push-ups at one point in time. And it's crazy how this world all happens, but all of the folks I know are somehow involved, either regulating it or creating it, because they know this is the future. So what's the bottom line, folks? We understand it's going to greatly improve efficiency, but it's going to drastically alter the workforce, the population, and perhaps kill everybody. That's what we have to do. Time is of the essence. We can't waste time. This is the year of AI. You cannot do this next year, folks. This is not like blockchain or tech that's going to slow down. This doesn't slow down. While you're sleeping, AI is improving itself. There's some kid in a basement right now that's improving it, and they don't have to wait for these other companies. This is moving exponentially, and we will blink and it will be too late. So you've got to get on this now. So where and how do we invest? Because I believe this is the only way to change the future, and it's the only way to create generational wealth at the same time. This is the opportunity to do both. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with doing both. So check your guilds and any kind of issues you have at the door, because if you really want to affect change in the future, you need to create value and create capital, which means you're going to get the best minds in the world. Raise your hands if that makes sense to you, right? A charity is not going to create the best results. It actually isn't, because there's no product. You're not going to get the best talent, and there's no exit scenario. Whereas a company is. That's how we actually do this. There's no other way. So you've got to find the hottest trend. We think we found it. And I'm going to show you why Zarka is different, because they're working on AGI, not narrow AI. To do that, you need deal flow, deal flow, deal flow. And when I'm not here talking to you on these master classes on a Friday night, when I'm not in the studio like I just did interviewing Ed Dowd, when I'm not teaching in my academy, I'm on the road sourcing deal flow. All right. This is me in Dubai at the Future Blockchain Summit at GITEX. There's 100,000 people here. It's the biggest tech conference in the world. I'm meeting with influencers, top members of the government, some of the big VC firms. Then I'm off to Paris. I'm having private dinners with investors. I'm filming documentary movies. I'm doing major tech media, and I'm meeting our portfolio companies. Upper right-hand corner is 2 of the companies we've invested in, Across the Ages and Swissborg. Amazing companies. They're going to have amazing returns. Across the Ages is going to like 10x this year. Then I'm back to London, where I'm interviewing Yatsu of Animoca Brands, right? He runs a $4 billion metaverse fund. I'm also meeting with other portfolio companies, and I'm hanging out with the alpacas in the bottom left, because you might need some friends when the AI take over, right? Everybody feel me? Plus they make good dinner too, potentially. Then I'm back to Paris to meet some of the top VCs in the world. This is Tim Draper in the upper right-hand corner, legendary Silicon Valley investor. Bottom is Dan Tapiero. He runs $2 billion of investments. We're actually going to invest in his next fund, and a bunch of other portfolio companies like Swissborg, that's Sandbox, et cetera. And then, of course, I was in Texas. I met with Ben Goertzel. I met William Shatner of the Captain Kirk of the USS Enterprise. Anybody know him? He's down in the bottom right-hand corner, 92 years old. He's actually doing a digital release with one of our portfolio companies called Orange Comet. And so the guys on the very top there, that's Dave Broom talking to William Shatner on stage. He got me in to meet Bill, and then I introduced him to Animoca Brands. So potentially they can get funding and take one of our companies up to 100x 200x, 500x return, which is what we're looking for. And also in the middle of the page is Ryan. He's part of my investment club. He has invested in Zarka. He has invested in Orange Comet. He's invested in all of our deals. And so if you want to be the best, you have to invest with the best, folks. And that's what we're doing. How do we do that? We keep a track of all the top and hottest AI deals happening in the world. We see their pitch decks. We talk to their CEOs. There's a lot of nonsense out there, folks. I ain't going to lie. And there's a lot of wannabes and there's a lot of ChatGPT plugins that try to pass them off as businesses. Or there's game-changing products that are going to change the world. We like the latter. But folks, deal flow is not enough. Unless you understand the financial tools, you're going to get taken to the cleaners. Let me show you why. Early stage artificial intelligence equity investment is the hottest opportunity out there right now. Why? You can buy at super low valuations with small amounts of money. Some of my students put in $5,000 on a deal, $10,000 on a deal. If it 100Xs, what do you care? You're going to make $1 million. What do you care, right? If it 500Xs, you'll make 5 million. You don't need a lot of money because there's asymmetric returns. You can invest in the biggest dislocation of wealth in human history. This is it, folks. You can sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else get wealthy, or you can be a part of it. Your choice. It's high risk, but it's high reward. And it is high risk. I'm not going to lie. You want to put small amounts of money in this, but the reward, in our opinion, outweighs the risk. And again, early stage happens in 3 sectors: seed funding, startup funding, early growth funding. We're typically looking at early growth funding in some of these companies. They already have customers, but they're not yet profitable. Very important to realize. So what's a good example of someone making a ton of money off this? Well, it's these 2 guys. Peter Thiel, legendary investor on the right. Mark Zuckerberg, some say boo, on the left. Let's watch how they made a ton of money, because Peter turned $500,000 into $1 billion. Who would like to do that? $500,000 into $1 billion. Come on, let's go, folks, right? Well, let's see how he did it. Back in 2004, Peter met Mark, and he got the opportunity to invest $500,000 into Facebook, right? Pretty simple. They valued the company at 10 million. If you divide 500,000 by 10 million, you get what percent? Any math geniuses here? What percent? 5%. He bought 5% of the company, like the investment. 8 years later, Mark takes his company public on Wall Street, sells shares to the public, but now he values the company at $100 billion. The price went up. What happens? Peter Thiel walks away with a 2,300x return. That's a 230,000% gain. Has anybody here ever made that? Has anyone ever heard of anyone making this? I worked on Wall Street for 15 years. I never ever heard of anyone ever making this kind of a return. Now, what happened to the stock price after they sold it to suckers like you, Susan, Diana, Danielle? What happened? It went down. Because the rule on Wall Street is this: when you sell shares to the public, to sheep like you and me, sheep get slaughtered, right? Public markets like you are when Peter Thiel wants to take his profits. Is that clear to everybody here? Whenever Goldman Sachs is trying to sell you a stock, don't trust me, they're not doing it for your good. Now, maybe you made 2x on an IPO. Has anyone ever made money on an IPO or heard of people making, I made double my money on an IPO? Peter's like, yeah, you go ahead and pop that champagne bottle. I just made 2,000 times my money on the IPO. Thank you. Thank you for providing my liquidity. So that's how we did it. What's the rule? The conclusion is the wealthy invest in early stage companies. If you're not going to be wealthy. A simple $10,000 investment, Sharon, Colburn, Jose, 10,000 would have made you $23 million. Who could use 23 mil right about now? Come on, right? Maybe you pay half of that to taxes. Maybe you had enough left over for, I don't know, a couple houses, put the kids in college, whatever. It's a start. I'm not saying you retire, but it's a start. Okay? This is what's happening all the time, and you don't know about it because they don't teach this to poor people. They don't teach this to the public. They only give these opportunities to the wealthy. Is that clear? What's my other conclusion? The public markets are for suckers. If you're buying a share on the NASDAQ, if you're buying a coin from Coinbase, I'm sorry, folks, all the juice is out of the trade. Put your hands up if that makes sense now. It is. You're not going to make a 500x on anything you buy in the public markets. As much as you love Bitcoin right now, I love Bitcoin too at 27,000. You're not going to make 500x on your Bitcoin. You're not. Even Bitcoin fanatics don't believe that. Okay? You're just not in a few years. That's $10 million Bitcoin. It's not happening. You're not going to make it on your Tesla. The only way to make it is with this, by the way. That's it. I'm about to say you could rob a bank. Maybe. Probably can't even get that return. Probably cost you too much to plan the robbery. All right. But guess what? This happens in tokens as well, not just shares. Anybody know this protocol, Solana? Anybody have some of this? Anybody here have crypto? Raise your hand if you have crypto. I just want to see. Okay. This is called a pre-sale token, right? Right here, pre-selling. You buy the tokens before they go in the public markets, a bit like Peter Thiel. Look at this. Can everybody see this red circle? Can everybody see the price there? How many cents is that? How many people can see this red circle? How many cents? 4. Thank you. Mauricio's paying attention. I like it. Look across. Can you move across on the horizontal? They raised how much money, Mauricio? 3.17 million. Do you see that? How many tokens did they sell? 79 million. Don't take my word for it. This is on the public blockchain, folks. Go check it out yourself. This happened in April 5th, 2018. Did anybody here buy those, by the way? Anybody get that look? Of course you didn't, because you're not on the inside with the deal flow. What happened? It went to 23 bucks. That's a 59,000% return. 590x on your investment, right? 10 grand makes you 5 mil, 6 mil. Who could use 6 mil? Who couldn't? This is happening all the time, folks, and you don't know about it because Wall Street doesn't want you to know this. All my old colleagues on Wall Street hate the fact that I do these master classes. They hate me for this because I'm giving away all the secrets. Now, how do we do it? We pull the trigger and we do it through deal flows. So this is a snapshot of over 200 deals that we have looked at inside my investment club and London Real Ventures. These are the front pages of all these different pitch decks. Every single week, we have a CEO on the call live pitching their company. On Monday, we had a guy from a company called Foxify. Actually, Tyson Fury is one of their PR people, and they're doing like a decentralized DEX. We have them every single week. We've looked at over 200. We invested in 7. We kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince. This is our deal flow monitor. We track every single deal, the blockchain it's on, how much they're looking to raise, what valuation. Is it for equity? Is it tokens? You name it, we track everything. This is Orange Comet. These are the guys that introduced me to William Shatner. This is David Broom on the right. He's their CEO. He's amazing. They build metaverses and digital collectibles. They're ex-Hollywood guys that know entertainment. They know sizzle, and they're bringing it to the blockchain space. They're working with major players. Sir Anthony Hopkins, Scottie Pippen, obviously William Shatner, the NFL, major movie franchises that if I told you, I'm sworn to secrecy, but if I told you, you'd be like, oh my God. I had Dave in the studio because that's part of my deal. We wrote him a check for 600 grand. I put Dave in the studio. We blew him up. His interview has been watched 100,000 people. I saw him in Texas. He said, Brian, that interview is crazy. Bringing us investors. It's bringing us employees. It's bringing us collaboration. We love you guys. This is what we do, folks. This is why we seal the best deals in the world. But it goes on. We got a whole portfolio of these investments. This is Swissborg, the #1 crypto wealth manager in Europe, 1 million customers on their mobile app. They're building literally the bank of the future. We just invested in their Series A. And this is it. We're going to use them to launch our tokens in the future. We are building an empire inside London Real here, folks, a money-making empire. My plan is to make $10 billion for my team here. For the people that invest with me over the next 10 years, I'm going to make them $10 billion. Watch me. We're going to do it. Watch me. This guy is Eric Poulier. He was in my studio Tuesday. He was here Tuesday morning. He's the CEO of Atom, which are creating metaverses for Fortune 500 companies. It's amazing. They have massive clients like PepsiCo, Google, Frito-Lay, major players, car companies, you name it. And we love this company. They're doing amazing things. This is a picture I took with him on Tuesday, blowing them up as well, right? These companies are going to make us lots of money. And of course, the OpenAI killer. And this is the hot project, folks. I can't lie. This is the thing I get excited about every single day when I wake up. This is Zarka, okay? It's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model from SingularityNet at massive scale. It's the OpenAI killer. This is the team. This is the thickest team of AI professionals in the world. This team alone is worth $100 million. And guess what? They don't want to work for anybody but Ben. They don't want to work for Microsoft. They don't want to work for Google. They want to work for Ben. These people are amazing. I've met a lot of them. They're incredible, right? What's the opportunity? This is the ChatGPT moment. This is the time, folks, right? But this is the problem with today's large language models. Look at this, folks. They have no ability to reason in complex world environments. They do not know when they're wrong. Sound familiar, anybody? These things mess up all the time. They have no idea. They hallucinate. Would you like them to hallucinate when they're looking after your family? No. Or when they're looking after our nuclear weapons or our power plants or our defenses? No. The LLMs currently simply memorize instead of thinking. What else? Neurosymbolic AI. These folks have been studying and perfecting neurosymbolic AI for the last 5-10 years. They were built for this moment, okay? This can meta reason beyond the experience. They can provide logical reasoning to use this, all right? It's got explosive potential, all right? And it escapes the monopoly. You get rid of these big tech giants. We're tired of that. We need to get out of the hands of those tech giants. And again, it's smart ownership and reward governance. It brings a diversive global user base. And again, you've also got incredible way to democratize access to all these AI products. Everyone in the world can use it, and it's open source and decentralized. Folks, if there was ever a way to make sure this wasn't put in the hands of a bunch of greedy, power-hungry people, and didn't we see that happen the last couple of years? Anybody notice that happening in the world? This is the way to stop it. And these people are building AGI. This is their timeline, proof of concept by end of year, and then product rolls out. And they understand AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. This is logic. They've been working with these robots, and Ben has been working on this for years and years and years. These folks already believe they've won. What's that great quote by Sun Tzu, The Art of War? Every battle is won before it's ever fought. They've already won. Just a matter of implementation. That's what they believe. The revenues are crazy. 55 billion of revenue. You put a 10x, 100x multiple on that. You got a $5 trillion company. It's the biggest company in the world. I don't have to convince you the use of these things. And quite frankly, they're good people that have great visions on the future. They want to be inclusive. They believe in humanity, and they really believe in our values. By the way, we get on really well, all of us. And so I am working to help them raise. They're trying to raise 15 million. We'll probably raise 5 million for them. We're putting $1 million of our money here at London Real Ventures in this deal. So my question for you is this the next 1000x deal? What do you think? Is it? Could it be? Look, right now, if you want to get in on an AI deal right now, it's very hard. Do you think you can buy ChatGPT stock? No. Do you think you can buy Google Bard stock? No. They don't want you to sell you that. It's very hard to actually get exposure to AI, let alone the best deal that I've ever seen. And quite frankly, the only one that I really want to be involved with. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I couldn't be more proud of the fact that not only are we going to invest in it, but we're going to make sure we incubate this company until it's massively successful. And to what will be a massive exit, potentially a 5,000 exit, 5,000x to make Peter Thiel look like a chump change, what we're hoping. And so this is what we do. Through London Real Ventures, we bring what I consider the quadruple threat. We create this amazing interview with the CEO. We distribute it to 5 million people in the world. I connect you with 1,000 people that I know in the business, from top hedge funds to influencers to you name it. And then we cut you a big fat check to go along with that. How do you learn how to invest? You're asking yourself right now. That's a good question. Well, I think you have to surround yourself with the best. How many people agree with this quote? Put your hands up. How many people agree you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? You agree with that? Yeah, I agree too. So how do you become the best? You got to surround yourself with the best. Who are you hanging out with right now? Let me ask you a question. Pull out your phone right now, real quick. Pull out your phone. Do this for me. Pull up your text messages. Look at your text messages here. Look at them. How many of the people in the top 5, which is your closest inner circle probably, how many of those people are building $1 billion company? Any of them? Any of them doing a TED Talk? Are any of them doing anything high performance with their life? Well, then why do you expect to do it with yours? Seriously. Do you think people like Ben are going to come knock on your door and hang out with you? No. Or as one of my mentors say, who are you hanging out with? Losers. That's what he says to me. So I'm saying it to you. You got to surround yourself with the best. And that's why I took my daughter to Boston last year, because I knew she needed to be around the best. Luckily, she agreed, and now she's at Boston University, and it's taken her game to the next level, folks. I had to do the same thing. I was a punk kid from San Diego, California. I was the smartest kid in my high school. I went to MIT. Trust me, I was one of the dumbest kids at MIT. I had to step my game up. And because of that, in my senior year, I was beating them all at their game because it was a game. But if I hadn't have been challenged and surround myself with the best, I would have been back being mediocre in San Diego. Does that make sense to everybody here? Okay, so this is me too. Why do you think I have London Real here? The only reason I have London Real is to surround myself with the best. The side effect is I get great videos that you get to watch. But the primary reason is I get to surround myself with the best. And I get to. I've got the best of the best I'm surrounded with, and it takes me to the next level. This is what we do inside our academy and our investment club. This is Marianne Bartels. She's one of the best on Wall Street, 35-year veteran, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, chief investment officer. She's invested in Zarka. By the way, she's a founding member of our investment club, works with London Real Ventures. She invested in Zarka. She invested in Orange Comet. She invested in Swissport. She invested in Batum. Cut big checks for all of them. You get to hang out with her on our calls. She's one of the smartest people I ever know. She knows stocks. She knows bonds. She knows inflation. She understands the yield curve. She knows what the Federal Reserve is going to do before they do it. For all I know, she tells them what to do. This is one of your new peer group if you join us. This is Andrew Haynes. He's a metaverse expert. He built this mansion in the sandbox as an NFT gallery. He's plugged in. He goes to one of the top Swiss universities with some of the top AI scientists. And he is also one of the key members of our club that is educating everyone around him. You want to learn a metaverse? You can learn for the best. This is Dr. Encore. 16 months ago, he was in medicine. He joined our group. He joined our Crypto and DeFi Academy, joined our club. Now he runs my investment committee. He brought us the Vatum deal. He brought it for us once we taught him how to get deals. He's got crazy deals coming in for us right now. I challenged him to start a YouTube channel a year ago. I said, give me 10 videos in 10 days. He said, Brian, I don't like to do videos. I don't like the sound of my voice. All the whiny excuses that you probably would give me if I told you to do 10 videos. But guess what? He took my challenge on board. He did 10 videos and uploaded them on YouTube. How many of you would do that? Raise your hand. Okay, well then you'll stay poor if you don't do that. He did it. Guess what? He came back, I did my 10, Brian. I was like, okay, do 10 more. He's like, oh, okay. Came back, I did 20. I said, do 10 more. A year later, he did 365 videos in a row. Now he's got hundreds of thousands of views. He just got offered $100,000 in pre-sale tokens to be the advisor of a company. And he turned it down because he's got better offers. This is who you could become in a year if you surround yourself with the right group. This is what we do. And this is my philosophy, folks. You've probably seen this quote before, but if you give a man or a woman a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's what I'm here to do. I want to teach those around me so they can take me to the next level. And that's exactly why I created my investment club. In 2021, we invested early stage token deal across the ages. Now it's the hottest game in blockchain right now, hottest. And I'd studied business at MIT Sloan School of Management, one of the best in the world. I worked on Wall Street. I worked in Chicago. I worked here in London. And I had never heard of any of this pre-sale token stuff. It scared the bejesus out of me. It was so foreign, so confusing, made me so uncomfortable. I thought, I've got to teach it right now. And that's what we did. We started my investment club and we started teaching it. We brought 10 people on for our inaugural class. And then it kept growing and growing and growing. So now every quarter we bring 10 students on. I do 3 months of coursework. It's a 12-month program, but no one's ever left. So at this point, it's lifetime. We've had members for 18 months and they're still going strong. Why would I want you to leave if you're an asset? Does everyone understand that? Once I teach you how to fish, why wouldn't I want you bringing fish in every day? That's the beauty of this investment club. No one's ever left. So you can stay here for lifetime if you want. We have weekly Zoom video calls with CEOs where they come and pitch the company. It's like Shark Tank, right? I'm Kevin O'Leary, and you get to watch. It's like a blood sport. People come on just like it's like the Roman Colosseum. I think some of my members are twisted. And I grill them. If they give us right answers, we think about investing with them. We have a private Telegram group. You get access to all the deal flow. And I give you a bonus full year of Kings of DeFi, which is my advanced metaverse blockchain program, because we think blockchain and crypto is going to be intimately involved with AI in the future. Next live call is Thursday at 7 o'clock. This is how we teach. I got 6 modules. I teach in real time because the market constantly changes. I also change my clothes in real time. Do you like my colors? Anybody got a favorite? Module 2, 3, any favorites? You like that? Come on. I even gave you some nice. I've never worn this color. I try to make a new one every night. Do I choose my colors at random? No comment. All right. And this is the syllabus. First, I say, what is a blockchain AI metaverse pre-sale? I walk it through. Then I say, what is a SAFT or a safe agreement? A simple agreement for future tokens. Does anybody here know what a SAFT is or a safe? Are you serious? Nobody knows. That's insane. The fact that you've never heard of a SAF means Wall Street is winning because they're keeping you stupid. So you buy their stupid pension fund things, you buy their stocks. A SAF is a simple agreement for future tokens. A SAFE is a simple agreement for future equity. It's how you do the Peter Thiel thing. It's how you invest in early stage. The fact you don't know what that is, it's a crime. I am the only person teaching this in the world. I'm the only person that's investing in it and teaching it and talking to the experts. And that's why they don't want me doing it. Module 3 is Deal Flow Part 1. I teach you the due diligence basics, the 5 T's: team, traction, technology, tokenomics, terms and conditions. Module 4, Deal Flow Part 2, I show you how to get the deals. One of our members, Petya, came on 6 weeks later. She brought 2 deals in. I took Carol to Paris with me. She walked away with 12 deals. Ryan came to Consensus with me, came away with 16 deals. I tell you what to wear. I tell you how to interact. Anybody here have a business card? Anybody here have business cards that you would bring to you to a conference? Yeah. Okay, leave your business cards at home, Grandpa. We don't use those, all right? We use QR codes on Telegram. Then we shoot a selfie. Then I get to pitch deck within an hour. All right, you got that, Colburn? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, but I had to, right? Leave the business cards at home, Grandpa. We work at the speed of light. I teach you how to do this. I teach you what to wear. I teach you what to go. I teach you the ticket to buy, how to get into the side parties, the side events, everything. Module 5 is how you nurture the early stage investments. Module 6 is how we get the cash out so we can then invest in more deals, and create that generational wealth. How many people believe they deserve generational wealth? Put your hands up. You do deserve it. This is your birthright. You've been taught that you don't deserve it. Your subconscious has been programmed that you're a worker and you don't deserve anything better. That's a bunch of nonsense because you're hanging out with poor, low performance people. You start hanging out with Marianne Bartels, 35-year Wall Street veteran. Do you think she thinks she doesn't deserve generational wealth? No, she knows she deserves it and it flows to her, flows. This is our Telegram group. This is our Discord group. And this is our investment club, folks. We're oversubscribed. We are every single quarter because this is the hottest program out there. We got 7 confirmed spaces, 1 on hold. There were 2 spaces left. Martini just closed one of them. There's 1 space left. The investment in learning this that you can use the rest of the 30 years of your life is $50,000. And we're doubling this in the next quarter. Why? Because 4 people that came on this quarter said, Brian, you should double the price. And I said, that's a good idea. So we will. It's a significant investment with a massive result. And it's the greatest, it's your chance to take part of the greatest wealth creation event in human history. And our special opportunity, Zarka, is ending soon. By the way, 3 months ago, we had another opportunity. By the way, this is a SAFT agreement on the right. Can everybody see that SAFT agreement? It's not as complicated as it looks. I offered this opportunity to anybody that wanted to join me last quarter. So if you were on one of those calls, you missed it. And what did you miss? You missed a chance to make a 466% return in 1 day. In 1 day, I made my investment club members $300,000. In 1 day, a 5x return. And guess what? This wasn't even a big deal. We were bored this week. We were bored. And so we all decided we'd put money in on this deal. How many people would like to make a 5x in 1 day on your money? $10,000 pays for this course. Bam. Done. Pays for this course and you get your 10 grand back. This is Cross the Ages, the token deal we got involved in 2 years ago. It's blowing up. After they came on my show, they became one of the hottest Web3 games out there. They got investments from our friends at Animoca and Ubisoft, $12 million. Now we're expecting a 10x pop on their token this year. We have a history of success in this group, and we're going to continue being successful until we hit that $10 billion mark. And then knowing me, I'll probably go for 100 billion. But that's our plan. I want to make those people around me filthy rich. That's my plan. And so this is Jens. And Jens hit me up the other day. He said, Brian, these people don't get it on these calls. I'm like, what do you mean they don't get it, Jens? He's like, Brian, they don't get it. He's like, they don't really understand what's going on in this program. And I said, Jens, I don't care if they don't get it. We only need 10 people. We only need the best people. He said, Brian, they need to know what they're missing. Jens was one of our founding members. And I was like, all right, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to make a video for him. I was like, okay. And so he made this video. He insisted that you watch it. So this is from Jens.
Why should you join the investment club? And the next obvious question is, can I afford to join the investment club? My name is Jens Krautscheid and I am an active investor in stocks and companies since age 14. and risking of stating the obvious, I'm German. Also, I am one of the founding members of the Investment Club. And I consider my decision to join the Investment Club as one of the best investment decisions I ever made and I ever will make. Why? We all had this pub talk, this talk at the dinner table where we complained about our hustle we have to do daily. We complained on the workload we have, and we try to top up each other who has more stress, who is more hustling. And then sooner or later someone says, well, if I would have been an early stage investor in PayPal, I would be so rich. Or if I would have been an early stage investor in Microsoft, I would be so rich. And this is nice. This is really nice. But let's be honest. If you would have had the chance back then, 1992, to invest in PayPal, would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have invested? Quite likely you wouldn't have, because you couldn't assess the situation. You couldn't value the situation enough. In the Investment Club, we get these offers on a daily basis. We get the next PayPals on our table. And then we have a team of 50 people, 60 people, of a growing community of people who will do these assessments. And they will say, do this, buy this, this is the way. And then we buy this. And the next question is, can you afford to join the Investment Club? And the question really should be, can you afford not to join the Investment Club? Times are getting tougher. AI is taking over. And in what company you want to invest? In which AI company do you want to invest? Do you want to invest in the ones who do the fridges, or do you want to invest in an early stage Coca-Cola who uses the fridges? It's up to your decision. I tell you now, invest in the Investment Club and be part of our fabulous, wonderful group. My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I wish you the best decisions of them all.
We like Jens. Come on, you feeling his vibe, everybody? He's good. He's a cool guy. And again, honestly, everybody in that club is. It's the greatest community. Come on, Martin. It's the greatest community we've ever assembled in our 12-year history. It really is. And it's just full of people that want you to win. These people are unlike the other people in your life, right? The people that are on your text messages. At the end of the day, do they really want you to be wealthy? Raise your hand if you think they really want you to be a billionaire. Do they really want you to? Or do they want you to just maybe not go so hard, right? Maybe you're going to make them uncomfortable. Everyone in this club not only wants you to be successful, unlike most people in your life, they expect you to be successful. They expect you to step up the game, and we're all doing this together. We got people in 20 countries from around the world. It's an amazing group of people. It's about 70 people right now. And we have enough capital to where we can raise $1 million like that and put it into a deal, which makes us a force to be reckoned with these companies. And folks, closing statements are this. It only takes one of these deals to change your life forever, to change the life of your life, your kids, and even your grandkids. Imagine that 23 million. What could that do to everything? It could change everything. And in a very uncertain world in the next couple of years, you could really use that. And so final thoughts are, don't let 2023 pass you by. This is the year. You cannot wait until next year to do this. You've got to learn early stage investing now because it's going to be here forever. You can use the same techniques I'm going to show you for the next 30 years, or at least until the AI take over. Liquid tokens and equity have limited gains. Your Bitcoin, your Tesla shares are not going to go up 500x. By definition, they can't go up that much. So you'll never see that from there. You can learn from active investors. I'm not a professor at a school. I don't run some podcast where I talked about it. We are investing millions for just $50,000. It's a significant investment with an unlimited ROI. And thanks to Martini, who convinced me to do this a few months ago, against my will, we created a payment plan. So for $10,000, you can get in on this Zarka deal before it closes. And that's 10 grand a month for 5 months. So we spaced it out to make it doable. And you get the best deal flow in the world. You get the best companies in the world. You get the best community in the world. And you're plugged into the London Real family and ecosystem, potentially for life. Man, I want to double the price right now, Martini, but we'll let it ride for a little bit more. So I get super excited. These are Martini's contacts here if you want to get in touch with her. She is the gatekeeper for this program. If you want in, you have to have a call with Martini and convince her that you are right for this club. By the way, I don't care if you have money. I don't care if you have connections. I don't care if you're an expert. I want the right energy. I want a can-do attitude, an optimistic look on the future, and someone who really wants to be a part of changing the world. If you're that person, we got time for you. All right. So this is Martini's details. And again, know your why. Do you have people in your life that are important to you? I do. I'm doing this for them. I'm creating the wealth for them. I'm creating a better future for them. I'm creating a world where the AI don't dominate us for them. So get in touch with your why, and you'll find out you can do pretty much anything, right? Right? If you know the why, you can do almost any what. Has anyone ever heard that expression? It's true, right? If you don't know the why, you can't do any what, right? So that's where it is. So anyway, I just want to do some Q&A. I hope that was helpful for everybody here. Did everybody get something out of that? I hope you really did. We're really lucky to have Martini here. So I just want to just get her to click in quickly, and she can tell you the best way to get in contact with her. Martini's our director of operations. She's been with us for years. She is the only person who decides who gets in the club. Not even I get to decide. And she invests alongside with us in all of these deals. So she's the one. Martini, over to you.
Oh my goodness, I always get so excited. And of course it's Friday, so we bring on more celebration here. And you know what's so funny, Brian? I don't think I ever told you this, but when I was looking at Jens's video, I remember having calls with him, and he was one of those I had to kind of drag to get past the goal line. And it was
Really?
because, you know, he had made investments before, right? And he didn't really have like the knowledge base, or, you know, was just plugged in with the wrong people. So for him to say that this is one of the best investments that he's ever made, I feel like a proud mama bear. So I'm happy to have people like Jens, you know, inside of the investment club. And so for those of you who are definitely interested in joining us and are concerned about AI, I would definitely say that AI is the future. And instead of being afraid or backing away from it, now is the time to lean in and to invest in these projects that are truly making a huge, significant difference in the world. And just on a more personal note, for us in our families, in that generational wealth that we're all wanting to build. So for those of you who are very new to investing, or you're new to AI, like, don't let this intimidate you. Like, we are with you every single step of the way. And like I said, it's time to really just lean into these things. And you are going to have a community of people who are going to be there to support you and to guide you and to invest alongside with you with this amazing change that's happening in the world. So for those of you who are interested in joining us in the investment club, I left my details in the chat. So if you are wanting to connect and you have some questions, you know, you want to join us, but you got a couple of questions, definitely go ahead and check out the investment club page first. And that's going to let you know everything that you're going to be learning as well as experiencing while you're with us in the investment club. If you have any additional questions, go ahead and book a call with me. My link is in there. And I know that we're spread out all throughout the land, right? And so we have different time zones and all of that. So if you don't see a time that's available, please go ahead and connect with me on Facebook. Just send me a private message. Just say, hey, Martini, I was on the masterclass and I want to connect. Let me know where you're from and what time in your time zone is most available. And I'll definitely do my best to make it happen. And I know that we're spread out throughout the world, but you guys are so important to us. And the more people that we can connect with in this London Real Army, I am just delighted to meet you and see how we can support you one way or the other on your journey. And also there's email, but the fastest way for sure is definitely through Facebook. So once again, as Brian said, our call is going to be on Thursday, our kickoff call, and we would love to invite you in, and we would love to welcome you on this new journey that you're going to embark on. So let's connect, book your call, and we can't wait to see you on the inside. Back to you, Brian.
Awesome. Give it up for Martini, right? She's what makes everything happen around here. We really appreciate her. And again, you know, if you come join us, you know, you'll get to know Martini really well because she's on all the calls and she's making everything happen behind the scenes. And look, it's a group. It's become like a family. I mean, we hang out with each other every single week. We evaluate things. We get emotionally involved. We get financially involved. We're building the future. It's absolutely amazing. So just want to say thank you for everybody for being here. Thank you for all the messages I'm getting, DMs and everything. So Vicente, I appreciate the positive vibes you're going. I know you're a big fan of them, which is good. Irakli asked me, where's Dan? I guess you're talking about Dan Pena. Where's Dan Pena? I don't know. He's probably still getting angry at Bitcoin somewhere, missing all these opportunities, but that's okay. He'll be crying one day when we walk around with our generational wealth. But that's okay. That's what makes a ball game. We got a bunch of people that sounds like interesting technology, and a bunch of other people that are feeling a little bit better about this. And look, I would just like to say that we need to be concerned and vigilant about AI. This is going to move super fast, and it's going to create new realities that, quite frankly, are ego destroying. It's going to mean we're going to have to find new ways of dealing with the world. But if you're on the cutting edge of it, and if you're intimately involved with people like Zarka, and by the way, we're going to be intimately involved, as in we're going to know everything that they're doing. We're going to be in Dubai, hanging out with them, traveling with them, knowing what's going on. And we're going to be a part of this evolution, and you get to be a part of it too. And we're going to be actively promoting this all the way up to even a potential exit if and when it happens. So you can really be on the inside and potentially change the future. I personally would rather see AI belonging to folks at Zarka as opposed to someone like the Microsofts or the Googles or the Metas of the world, because I just know, because they have a history, they're not going to do something nice with it. And so this is our chance to make a difference. You know, I've been talking about this, Martini knows, for 6 months about where we're going to go with AI. And I'd like to say this deal just dropped in our laps, but it didn't, because in so many ways we attracted this thing because of Ben, because of our ethos and our mission and who we are. And it really fits. And I think that's kind of why we can offer this opportunity to you. By the way, if you're in the investment club, you can choose to put 0 in this. You can put 5,000 in this. Somebody just cut a check for 100,000. You can put whatever you want in that. And by the way, that's unheard of. If you ever wanted to get involved with deals like this, you probably have to put in $250,000 minimum to one of the big VC funds. And they wouldn't even ask you if they were going to put money in the deal. They would put money into any deal they want of your money. So we offer a very, very unique opportunity for you to get involved at your option and for as little or as much as you want. And again, with our media platform, we can offer that on to you. And we're only doing it to London Reelers, you know, and that's the way we like it. So anyway, I just want to say thank you, folks. If you are interested, and only if you're seriously interested, book that call with Martini. She's amazing. And look, I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. We got a CEO of another amazing startup on Thursday and on the Monday after that. Zarka's closing. We got the Tapiero investment. We got another hot investment into a Web3 chain that's just off the charts. We're putting another $500,000 into. These things are happening very, very fast. So tons of opportunities. Also, if you want to remake your career in investing or blockchain or metaverse or AI, literally can be done in as little as 3 to 6 months. I know that's hard to believe, but it can be done because our members are doing it. So if you're looking for a change, this is the way to do it. And like I said, do it now, because at this rate, I mean, we might even close this thing by the end of the year and just make a bunch of money together with a great family of people. So yeah, that's it, folks. Just want to say happy Friday. Let's fight back against those AIs. If the AIs are listening, I just want to welcome you and say that we look forward to working with you in the future in any way, shape, or form. No, I'm just joking. And so we're going to come back and hopefully define the future to where we can get along with our fellow intelligent beings. So that's it, folks. Big love. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.